Good morning. Chief Matthew Bullitt. I'm the president of the Chief Petty Officers Association for the Capital Area. I'd like to welcome you to the 18th Annual Volunteer of the Year Award on the 247th birthday of the United States Navy. Stand by for the national anthem. Thank you. Next, I'd like to introduce the USS Slater intern, Gio Romano, for his remarks.
In the spring of 1775, Americans began the fight to defend their rights within the British Empire. By autumn of 1775, they were in open rebellion, and in October 1775, the British held superiority at sea and threatened to block the colony's trade and destroy seaside settlements. In response, a few of the states assembled small fleets of their own for defense of local waters. Up to this time, the Continental Congress was not willing to establish a navy. However, on October 13th, a letter from General Washington was read in Congress to report that he had taken under his command, at Continental expense, 3 schooners to cruise off Massachusetts to intercept enemy supply ships. From this beginning, the Continental Navy then grew into an important force. Congress established a naval committee charged with equipping a fleet. This committee directed the purchasing, outfitting, manning, and operations of the first ships of the new Navy, drafted subsequent naval legislation, and prepared rules and regulations to govern the Continental Navy's conduct and internal administration. During the War for Independence, the Continental Navy sent to sea more than 50 armed vessels of various types. The Navy's squadrons and cruisers seized enemy supplies and carried correspondents and diplomats to Europe, returning with needed munitions. They took nearly 200 British vessels as prizes, some off the British Isles themselves. These activities contributed to the demoralization of the enemy and forced the British to divert warships to protect convoys and trade routes. In addition, the Navy provoked a diplomatic crisis that helped bring France into the war against Great Britain. The Continental Navy began the proud tradition carried on today by our United States Navy, and whose birthday we celebrate each year in October. In 1972, Admiral Elmo Zumwalt, Chief of Naval Operations, authorized observance of October 13th as the Navy birthday. Over the last 247 years, our sailors have adapted to the needs of our nation in both peace and war. Throughout our history, sailors from every social group and background have joined in one common cause: the right of all people to enjoy freedom and liberty. Today, we celebrate the accomplishments of those who have gone before us. There are thousands of men and women who keep our Navy history alive, and we celebrate this legacy. The one thing that has not changed in 247 years is the quality of our people, the sailors that make the real difference in our Navy's effectiveness. May God continue to bless America and the United States Navy.
Thanks, Gio. Next, we're going to present the Volunteer of the Year Award. Myself and Chief Casey Graham, if you could stand up. to Mary Beth Mulligan. Mary Beth, front and center.
The Capital Area Chief Petty Officers Association is committed to serving the Albany area naval community, and in particular the USS Slater. Beginning in 2006, our association has selected a Volunteer of the Year from among Slater's dedicated volunteers.
It is my privilege to announce that the 2022 USS Slater Volunteer of the Year Award is going to Mary Beth Mulligan. Mary Beth, we are very pleased with your efforts over the last 2 years aboard the USS Slater, providing meals for the regular volunteer force and for special events on a regular basis. Your consistent efforts have been an inspiration to your fellow volunteers. Additionally, your dedication and meticulous attention to detail have provided the opportunity for many generations of visitors to witness the role the USS Slater has played in our history. Mary Beth, congratulations on your selection as USS Slater's 2022 Volunteer of the Award. It is my honor to present this plaque to recognize your achievements. Thank you. Mary Beth, would you like to deliver any comments? Okay.
Thank you so much for this. I certainly don't do what I do to get any kind of, award. But I will tell you that it is so much fun doing this. They are a great group of volunteers that are here on Mondays. We have a lot of laughs, and it's really given me more than I've given. So thank you so much for this.
Thanks, Mary Beth. Next, I'd like to introduce Mr. Tim Rizzuto, the USS Slater Executive Director.
Again, I want to thank Mary Beth for all she does to improve the morale of the Monday volunteers. It's just that she makes things just great around here, and it wouldn't be the same without her. And I also want to thank the Capital District Chief Petty Officers Association for their efforts in recognizing the USS Slater volunteers every year, because everybody knows without the USS Slater volunteers, the USS Slater wouldn't be here, and I certainly wouldn't be where I am today. So I want to just thank all the volunteers who worked so hard to make this ship what it is today. We usually get about 15,000 volunteers a year. We probably have about 50 volunteers involved locally, and about 200 if you count everybody from around the country who helps us out. And as you go through the ship today, I want you to notice that on the bunk straps down below, one of our volunteers, Angelo Bracco, has taken to stenciling the names of our deceased volunteers on those bunk straps so they're not forgotten. So as you go through the ship today, just remember all the volunteers who are no longer with us, and thank all the volunteers that are with us today. Thank you all.
Thank you, Tim. And at this time, this concludes our ceremony. I'd like to welcome everyone to the mess decks for the cutting of the Navy birthday cake and brunch. Thank you.